exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And today's episode, we want to thank a subscriber. He emailed us, and if you have ideas for shows, email it as well. We try to get to things that subscribers want us to talk about. And I'm going to read this to you, Mr. Magazine, and I just want you to comment on it.
Okay.
Hi, subscriber here. He didn't actually call himself subscriber. A thought for a show. I've noticed when buying in bulk, I have about 10 to 15% spoilage, aka not worthy of listing. When buying in bulk, I try to check it out beforehand, but I can't always do so. So what do I do? Do I toss those items or just kind of accept it as a loss? What can I do to better protect myself? Or is it just part of reselling? Do I go back to the seller and tell them? What do I do?
Well, for me...
Signed, Sleepless in Seattle.
Yes. For me, I take it all if I can take it all, and then worry about it later. You know, if we're having trouble with room, put it in the corner, and then at some point, you may have to throw it out, donate it, do what you got to do. But I would never leave it behind because you never know what's in there until you look through it. So get it all out of it, wherever you're buying at the house or estate sale, whatever. Get it out, get it in your car, store it, go through it at your leisure, and then, you know, if you decide, hey, this is in poor condition, throw this one out. You know, because most of the stuff will sell if you have time to do it. You know, add it to your death pile. As long as you got, you know, room, I would do that for now.
Well, I've got some ideas. One idea is sometimes you can lot. I've done that before. For example, Jack and Jill magazines are notorious for not having the centerfolds in them. Well, I picked up a lot of them at a good enough price that I spot checked a few of them, and some had it, some didn't. I knew that going in. So the ones that had the centerfolds and were complete, I sold. The ones that, you know, individually. And then the ones that were missing the centerfolds, I lotted them out. And the nice thing about those is, if I remember right, I don't think a lot of those have ads, or some of those don't have ads in them as well, so that helps as well. But I lotted them out. You know, hey, 6 Easter Bunny covers, 6 Halloween covers, missing centerfolds. And those were able to sell. Another thing that I would suggest is the most valuable items in the collection that you see, check those for completeness.
Yeah.
Make sure that those are okay. In other words, if I'm buying 50,000 sports cards, a few of them might have writing in the back. A few of them might have been removed from a scrapbook. A few of them might have, you know, be torn in half, literally.
Right, sure.
But if going through there, I see a couple of Mickey Mantle cards, pull those out to check the condition on those. Because if you look at the rest of the deal as being gravy, as long as you make sure that, you know, obviously if you got a big collection of comics and it's got Amazing Fantasy 15 in it, you verify its completeness. And okay, that comic is complete, I can base my buy off of this.
Right.
The fact that a Spider-Man 117 is missing pages isn't really a big deal.
Right, exactly.
I'll give another example using comic books. What's the Hulk 181, first appearance of Wolverine? What's that famous for? What's the problem potentially with it?
Oh, that's the one with the coupon or something?
It's got the Marvel value stamp.
It's a stamp, yeah.
You buy that comic, make sure the stamp's there. Because not having the stamp makes a huge difference.
Right.
The stamp also might have appeared in Two Gun Kid 68. Doesn't matter. If it's missing the stamp, not having the stamp doesn't really make too big of a difference. So I would definitely check the higher value things as well. And a third tip that I think I would give out there is, I mentioned Jack and Jill magazines. Check those for centerfolds because those are often missing. Grab a random magazine or two and just do a quick page through to see. A lot of times you can see where ads are missing. Oh, okay, ads are missing. Now I've got to pay less on it. And then know what kinds of magazines often are missing things. Rock magazines are often missing posters. Wrestling magazines are often missing the posters.
Well, Sports Illustrated for kids or the sports card books, they had the cards in them. Those are key. You need those in there for sure.
Need those in there.
Nintendo Powers, you know, stuff. They had inserts, you know, cards, discs, things like that.
Even though they're not worth a lot, Mad Magazine,
a
lot of time had those kind of things too. And another thing to look for in the Mad Magazine is if they had the stickers, did the stickers stick to themselves? Because that happens often as well.
Right.
Teenage magazines or movie magazines, like the 17 or not the 17, the 16 and all that kind of stuff. A lot of times those have clippings out of them because people cut the pictures out and did something with them.
Right.
Another tip that I know we've mentioned before, if I'm around a house and for an estate sale, let's say, and I notice it's got some homemade posters, for lack of a better word, with lots of clippings from movies and movie magazines and that stuff, and then I see a pile of movie magazines in the other room, I'm going to be very, very leery about buying those, unless they're absolutely giving them away, because my expectation is all of those pictures came from somewhere.
Yeah.
They probably came from those magazines.
Right.
So that would be another tip. As to going back to the seller, the person that sold them to you, would you ever do that?
Oh, what do you mean? Like,
in other words, comment back to the seller.
If they're missing stuff,
yeah,
it's kind of like buyer beware. So I would just eat it.
I think the only time I would be if it's a dealer-to-dealer transaction. Okay. If I'm buying it from a dealer, and I might say to him, "Hey, did you know all those Playboys you sold me last time had the centerfolds missing out of them? Hopefully you can do a little something for me this time." Right. So if it's from a dealer,
yeah, I mean, if they certainly say, "Oh, they should be complete," and they're not, then I certainly would say something. If they say, "I don't know," it's kind of like buyer beware thing. Check them out now, don't check them out later, and then want a refund or something like that. But
right. Although with the dealer, again, I would feel a little different with the dealer because he's in the business of it. If I'm buying it from somebody, civilian, yeah, that definitely is on me.
Right.
And again, the dealer wants to sell to me in the future as well. He'll make it right as well.
Right.
And again, there's always going to be some, because I guess another thing you can do to protect yourself to some extent is know where the collection came from and why it's being sold and who you're buying it from. Right. If you're buying from a clean out guy, he's making no warranty whatsoever.
Yeah.
Somebody passed away, moved into assisted living, and he's just grabbing all the stuff out of the house and he's flipping it to you as it sits. And you have that understanding that goes in. He's making no warranty, but he's also selling it very, very cheap because otherwise he's got to throw it in a dumpster and pay to have it hauled away.
Sure, exactly.
He'd rather pay, have you pay him $50 than him pay $20. So, but there's no warranty at all and that kind of thing whatsoever.
Right.
So you kind of pick things through on that throughout the years. So I want to thank you for sending that over. Hopefully our answers helped you a little bit over there. Anybody else wants us to do anything about anything, just email us. We're easy enough to find, and we'll incorporate it into a future show. And if you could do us the favor hitting the like button, we would definitely appreciate that. And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.